Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover in studio. Let's talk football.
In studio, that's right. We're in studio together because it's the start of real football.
Real football.
It's college football live games. So this is the last of our week one preview we're doing today. Tune in, go check out our first half of our week one preview, which we already just did for our Thursday, Friday games. These are going to be the rest of the games on the weekend. And then you'll also be able to see our week zero review.
Yeah.
And we're watching them together. Can't wait for the Iowa State, Kansas State game. That kicks off our week zero game part. But we're going to be talking about second half of our week one previews on Saturday, which is really Texas, Ohio State. So one of the biggest regular season
openers I can ever remember.
Ever. Or even just in a regular season. It's so rare to have a 1 versus 3 or a 1 versus 2 ranked matchup in a regular season.
Yeah, and this is, I think, isn't this the first time a team that's ranked number 1 is an underdog in the opening game?
Yeah.
I think that's the first time it's ever happened.
Yep.
Probably because you never put two good teams together usually it's a warm-up game. Yeah. For a team ranked number 1 in college.
Yes.
This is almost always an out of conference, basically warm-up game. You never put yourself up against another national championship contender right out of the gates like
no, and it's really crazy because both teams are starting new QBs, right? And so you've got an important game against a really talented defense. Both Ohio State and Texas defense are really good. And it's for Manning, he has played in a couple games, but this is going to be one of his major first starts on the road. And Sayin is supposed to be really good, and Ohio State's really good, but it's his first start, and it's against a really good team, and it's just crazy to see. Both these teams are predicted to be like in the top 4 in the playoffs at the end of the season.
Well, they have the 2 shortest odds to win the national championship,
right? But they're playing each other. Someone's got to lose, and they're 2 new QB. We don't know what they're going to look like. This could all change in this one game. Imagine if Sayin goes like 10 for 20 with 2 interceptions or something. Like if you're an Ohio State fan, you'll be losing your mind if something like that happened. Or Manning. I think it'd be worse if Manning went 10 for 20 with 2 interceptions.
Well, we've seen Manning step in and play good.
Yes.
Well, that's terrible English. Play well against real teams.
I know that. Yeah. But no one's immune to a not good game against a really good team on the road.
Yeah, I guess my bias is since I've actually seen Manning play, I can picture him playing well against a real team.
Yeah.
Whereas Sayin, it's completely all right. You've only seen him in practice. You've never seen him with live bullets against another team, especially a team that as good as Texas. So talk about being thrown into the fire.
Yeah, that's really my feeling from this game is that the win isn't going to be as significant as the person who loses. Like the fan base of the team that loses is going to be super concerned, I think, going after that. And it's not a conference game. Okay. So it doesn't derail either team's playoff hopes or anything like that. Unless you also have a couple more losses throughout the regular season. But yeah, I think it's
what are we going to learn? What are we really going to learn from this game? How good these 2 QBs really are, or how good both teams reloaded? Because both teams sent so many players to the NFL, but both teams are just stacked with 4- and 5-star players ready to fill those positions. Yeah. So we don't expect a huge drop off in performance. No. Now, Ohio State was a complete juggernaut at the end of last year. You could argue that they might not be quite that powerful, at least right now. It might take them the season to ramp into it.
Yeah.
Same with Texas. They lost a bunch of players. They're kind of on the exact same footing.
Yeah,
New starting QB, reloading with tons of 4- and 5-star talent. I mean, they're kind of showing up with the exact same situation on both sides.
Yeah, that's true. There's a similarity there. I feel I stopped short of saying like lost a bunch, and it's not like it's all new people. Like there's still Smith, the wide receiver for Ohio State, feels like it could be arguably the best player in all of college football.
Is returning, yeah.
Yeah, and then same thing with Texas as a linebacker who's like arguably the best linebacker in all of football
too, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's not unknowns at every position. There's some places that have been reloaded, but so I think so you mentioned what are we going to learn? So if both QBs play well, and I'm talking like 20 for 25, 250, 300 yards or something, as a fan base, you're going to be ecstatic. You're going to be like, we're going undefeated the rest of the season.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that is the only question for these two teams,
Right.
right? Is just what is the QB going to look like? So if your QB for tech, if it's Manning or Sayin, look unstoppable against a really good team, you're going to be over the moon.
Right.
If they look like a freshman or redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore, like early type player, a couple interceptions, turnover, maybe a couple of false starts, right? Then you're going to be, then you really need the rest of the team to be amazing,
Right,
to offset that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I can't remember the last time this many top teams are starting the season with a new first year starting QB. Not necessarily a true freshman, just this is the first time they've started for that team.
Yes.
It is across the board.
It's across the board.
Georgia, Oregon, Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, besides Clubnick and Nussmeier, which I guess we're going to move on to that game, there's not Alabama. Like, where is there?
No.
There's so few returning.
No, Georgia Tech, that was one of the ones that we talked about in our week one preview, the last one. No, and you're right. It's so weird that because the top 3 or 4 teams that are favored to win the national championship all have new QBs, which is rare.
Super rare.
Yeah. And we've hammered on that in all of our preseason, our state of affairs episodes. If you haven't,
continuity with QB and head coach.
Yes, we've hammered on that because that feels like that's going to be a big difference this year. So no, and as much if we've hammered Iowa State playing Kansas State in Dublin, or Syracuse and Tennessee playing like Atlanta, the fact that this is one game, Texas and Ohio State. I don't know if I'd want to see it in Ohio State, to be honest. Like I'd rather that be, since they're two super good teams, I would have preferred that one to be more at a neutral site myself for this opening one. But it's
no way.
No, you'd
No
prefer.
way.
So I just think that'd be a better. I don't know.
Nothing beats the home atmosphere of a major college football game. It sucks to take that away from the hometown fans and park it anywhere else. Also, you're asking them to travel. It's more expensive. It's not the same feeling. I get that the Red River Shootout is something special, but it's its own thing. Same with the cocktail party. We've been to that one.
That takes a while though to establish that sort of feel.
It takes a while to establish it. It's sort of, there's a nostalgia about it. There's a charm to it.
Yeah.
These things also, I like the fact that the Cotton Bowl's kind of a dump and it's a state fair, right? So, but these other neutral site games, I mean, this one isn't, but when they do that, I don't know. It takes something away from it for me.
Yeah. Do you have any opinion on the fact that it's at noon versus 3:30 versus 7:30? Like, would you rather that be a primetime game?
I don't know why people are so pissy about that. Like,
really?
With the Big Ten and in their contract with Fox and how they get the big noon thing versus the SEC gets all the evening games. Does that make any difference to you?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I do. I don't know why. As a fan, knowing the big games at 7:30. Like, so if Texas Ohio State was 7:30, okay, on the Saturday, and Clemson LSU was like 3:30, and then Syracuse Tennessee was at noon, or the Bama Florida State was at noon.
Yeah,
I would like that as a fan because to me it's just sort of like, oh, I'm getting my starter, checking this out. This is good games, and then I sort of, the hype builds up for me as the day goes on, and then I'm sort of at the edge of my seat for the last game, which is for the marquee matchup.
See, I view it the other way around. I like the fact that there's massive games at different time slots because I try to watch basically all of them for the show. I want to watch them anyways, but we watch them. Professional podcasters here, all 500 and whatever people that might be watching, but I enjoy watching a really good game at the early time slot, versus having to wait to the evening, and then I'm either doing double screens on big games or I have to. It just gets later and later in the day to see all the best games. I like seeing. And also, I'm on the West Coast. I wake up and this game's right. It's 9 a.m. for me. It's awesome.
That's crazy.
Like I'm having breakfast watching one of the best games of the year, and I don't have to wait, and it's not layered on top of another game where I have to fit them all in at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I get it. Like some people who in the Big Ten or Big Ten fans kind of don't like the idea that they've been almost shut out of the evening games, because there is something to be said for a game at night in Beaver Stadium, or any of these stadiums. It's interesting, but I mean, just own it. So you get the early games. There's something about that. So I don't know. To me, it's selfishly, I like it because it spreads the day out for me better. But
No,
But I
fair
get
enough. I think that a few years ago, someone reported like the volume difference in the stadium for the night game versus the more like the noon game was significantly different.
more
Mostly,
drunk.
mostly due
Yeah.
to the alcohol consumption, right? So like an 8 p.m. game at LSU felt significantly different than the noon game at LSU, right? So
Yeah, I guess you have all day.
not
to
that I'm
get-
picking on Louisiana people for drinking or something, but you could have put that anywhere in the South. And
Yeah, well, we've been to noon kickoffs, and you're tailgating it. It's early.
Yeah,
it's a different
it's
feeling to start the day that
just
early.
kegs and eggs at 9 a.m. and you just go from there. But but I'll say this: we're here together we're going to watch the week 0 games, Iowa State, Kansas State game tomorrow. That'll be at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to watch the Texas Ohio State at 9 a.m. Like that to me, I would prefer watching that later in the day. But I'm crazy.
Since I've relocated from the East Coast to the West Coast, I've really gotten used to it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, so next big game on our week 1 preview on the Saturday is going to be the Bama at Florida State.
Yeah. Bama's favored.
Oh, by last thing on Texas Ohio State, do you have a pick on that one? Do you have a leaning?
I mean, Texas only because I've seen a bit more of Arch Manning, and he's faced some live, like FBS starting team bullets.
Yeah,
that Sayin hasn't.
Yep.
And so for no other I mean, I think they're as even as you can possibly get.
Yep.
With the players they're retaining, with the players they've lost, and how good both teams can easily reload with all of the talent. I would just pick the one. One difference is a QB,
bit more known quantity.
A bit more known quantity at QB. Who knows? Sayin could be a Trevor Lawrence who goes straight to the national championship in his rookie year. Could totally do it.
Well,
but I'm just going off of what I know. But I wouldn't be surprised if regardless which way this game goes, neither it's going to surprise me.
No, and
the team wins.
And the other thing I'll say too, just to your point about Sayin, is that, and you made this earlier, like Ohio State's really good. They've got some really good people at a lot of different positions. And so you're not asking Sayin to do too much. You know, it's more, I don't want to say ball distributor because the QBs get insulted when you call them that, but that's what he has to do. Like, you just got to make sure you take the snap well, hand it off to running back, get it into Smith, right? Is this his name, the wide receiver?
Yeah.
So get into his hands like that. That's what you need to. They're not. It's not the weight of. It's not like Kyle McCord at Syracuse last year, where he had to. You know,
do a lot.
You need him to throw over 300 yards in order for to be in the game. So yeah. So I think that I'm with you. I'm leaning Texas in that one too, just for a slightly. I think Texas defense can be a little bit better than Ohio State's defense this year, and so I think that's
or even at this point of the year.
at this exactly at this point of the year.
From all of the analysts I've seen, the one question mark on Ohio State is the D line, and specifically the interior. And does it have the depth to match what it did last year? The whole line was in the NFL right now, so
yeah,
but again, they just reload.
Yeah, they do. They've got some really talented, but I like as of the first game of the season, I think Texas defense is a little bit better. Manning a little more experience, so leaning Texas on that one.
From what we know. All right, so Bama at Florida State. This could get really ugly. Like it's 13.
Do you think Florida State's going to kill them?
That's exactly what I was getting at, Jeff. Minus 13 at Bama's minus 13
Man,
and a half.
2 touchdown dog. Like it on the road is
and Castellanos or Castellanos, however you say
Still,
his name, has what
still chirping, not backing down.
Whenever he first ran his mouth, that I bet you, I'm guessing, I don't have inside information, that's bulletin board material.
Has to be
for Alabama.
Yeah.
And like, look what this guy's saying about you.
Yeah.
And I think it could get ugly fast.
I don't know if you're a Florida State fan. I would appreciate the fact that my QB is that confident, feels that comfortable saying that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
he better be confident. This is like Diego Pavia level confidence.
Yes,
right?
Great comparison. Yeah. Great comparison. And you know, and if he backs it up, fantastic, right? Like even better. It's just crazy to be like 13 and a half points favored on the road at a place that, like, again, Florida State was terrible last year. Like 2 wins or like they were. It's not the same as it was like in the 90s in terms of how difficult it is to play there, but still, I just can't believe. I don't remember the last time I've seen anything where they're 2 touchdown underdogs at home at Florida State. Is just nuts. But that really says a lot about what people think about Alabama, right? They think that this year with DeBoer and having a more traditional passer at QB,
which fits more how the system he wants to run.
And again, and you talk about, like we said with Ohio State, like they're loaded in a lot of positions. They've got they also have an unbelievable wide receiver, that guy.
Oh yeah,
But and so and when you've lost things, you're still going to get a 5-star now that's going to be in the roster replacing them. So I think Bama is better than Florida State. I still don't know if I do the 2-touchdown part, but Bama is that good, and some people are. Even though it's like Texas and Georgia and Ohio State are probably more favored for the national championship, a lot of people are picking Bama too because of the team that they're going to have.
Yeah, I don't think they're the sexy pick right now. People want to talk about other teams, but not them. They could be the team this year. They could easily be the team this year. It's almost like now that Saban's not there, and the result of the first season with DeBoer was not necessarily to what people thought. Or expectation, what expectation they have for Alabama. Losing 3 games is, well, that doesn't happen at Alabama. It's like, oh, DeBoer's there. It's not safe. Oh, maybe Alabama, maybe the luster's off. I don't think that's the case at all.
No.
I think they could be right back in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think their schedule sort of matches up pretty well with it too. So they miss Texas. They're at Georgia. That's going to be a really tough one no matter what. They get Tennessee at home. It's at South Carolina, also going to be a tough game. But but I think they could win that. Oklahoma, not really sure what we're going to get from them. LSU at home as well. So like that, that stacks up pretty nicely, in order for them to go on a pretty big run there. Yeah. So yeah.
And this game doesn't necessarily have playoff implications for either team per se. No, I suppose. You know what? It might actually have more playoff implications for Alabama than Florida State.
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, if they lose to Florida State, that's going to be.
And if they end up as a 3-loss team, right, they can't afford to have that as well.
Yes, exactly.
If Florida State turns out to be sort of
not a good team,
not a good team this year.
So it's a critical. It'd be more of a critical loss for them, and I think that in terms of Florida State, they only play 3 other ranked teams all season. So if they could get that one, man, if they beat Alabama, then they've got East Texas A&M, Kent State, Virginia, and then hosting Miami. All of a sudden, that game feels real different. Mm-hmm. If Florida State is like 4-0 or 5-0 going into that one, so that'd be a colossal upset. I think the more likely thing is what you talked about, where this could get out of hand.
I think it could
fast.
I think it could get out of hand. So we'll see. I'd rather it not be a blowout, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next big one, Clemson, LSU at Clemson.
Yeah.
So the battle of the Death Valleys.
Yes.
Clemson -4. Did that line move, or has it always been?
No, Clemson was up
at -4.
Was up by. I think it used to be at a field goal, so it's crossed out a little bit. But yeah, so Nussmeier came back. That was a big thing. If you watch the Netflix show, right, that he could have gone pro, decided to come back. They're returning a fair number of people. This feels sort of like a pretty significant year for Brian Kelly in terms of their success. Here's the only thing I'll say about Clemson. I've always thought Clubnick, his looks okay. Like, he looks good. He doesn't look great. I've been underwhelmed by him, whereas the whole time. But apparently I'm missing something, because some people have him ranked as like the top QB, over Nussmeier. Yeah. Right now would be rated higher, which I don't see at all. I think that he's had some incredibly talented wide receivers and running backs.
And apparently he has the best wide receiver room they've had in a while coming into this season.
Right, but it's not like they've had bad ones before, and he hasn't wowed me. So I'm a little surprised. I would take LSU in this one. I think LSU is an overall better team. Clemson has some unbelievable defensive line. They always do, though, right? Mm-hmm. And they
might actually have the top rated D end and D tackle.
Yes, in all of football. So it's a really talented defense, but I don't know. I think that Nussmeier coming back, that's sort of the same thing with Penn State. We're not going to be talking about Penn State in this preview, but when excellent players could go pro, come back, and then it's like this time we mean it. Those teams, I feel like, tend to do really well. Yeah. So and it's got a bit more senior people in LSU. So I think they could be really good.
LSU struggled to run the ball last year. I wonder if they're going to get their act together this year.
Yeah.
That's going to matter for sure.
And going against one of the best D lines in the country is not the best place to get it going.
Right.
Either,
Yeah.
But
let's get that going against that D line. So I don't know. I think the line's right. It's just, I mean, Clubnick is 4 years now. There's another year in the system with Riley, so you would expect that to improve a little bit further, right? So I don't know, but I think you're right. Who do you think's more pressure? I think the pressure's on LSU here and Brian Kelly.
Great question.
I don't think there's pressure on Sweeney at all here.
No, I agree. I think it's not that there's no pressure on Sweeney, but I think the pressure on Kelly is significant.
Oh yeah.
So, and this is again, as like, it's not a conference game, so it doesn't derail their season if either team loses it. But for Clemson, they only play the only other two teams that are ranked in their schedule right now is SMU and South Carolina, and SMU could easily not be ranked by the time they play them. Like so if you mess up at all there, or if you lose again to South Carolina, there's a Florida State game later in that schedule. Then that also is going to have playoff, because then you might not have beaten a ranked team, kind of thing for Clemson, right?
Yeah,
so
there's
that would
playoff implications for both teams here, because both of these teams could get an at-large bid without actually winning their conference games, their conference championship. So this game, in many cases, the out-of-conference game doesn't necessarily matter as far as playoffs, but in this case, I think it does for both teams.
Yeah, I think it does too, because of their schedule, because of who they've got left up. It's different, like we just were just talking about with Bama. They've got several ranked teams coming up afterwards, and it's not the case for these two.
Yep. All right. Well, next one, Virginia Tech at South Carolina. I guess it's not a huge marquee matchup, but all eyes are going to be on South Carolina and Lenore Sellers here. So it's, is he going to take the next step here? Last year, he was kind of a one read and go player. I mean, he was a rookie. He was a freshman, so maybe you don't really expect him to be able to go through full field reads. But the progression, he's got to be more of a quarterback versus someone who just takes off and runs. Now, almost nobody could stop him when he did run.
Yeah.
But that I would like to see in this game, I'd like to see Sellers actually playing more quarterback.
Yes, I agree. So two things are important in this one. The South Carolina, this is a neutral site game again, right? It's at Atlanta. Yeah. And if you're a South Carolina fan, you want to see them just take care of business, right? Like to play a boring game, beat up on Virginia Tech on offensive line, defensive line, like win in the trenches, and and have Sellers look like a QB, distributing the ball, pass first, maybe run second option as opposed to running first. I'll tell you who else this is an important game for. This is Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. They all play South Carolina late in the season, and so that schedule feels real different for those teams if South Carolina is really good or not, right? Because those ones are going to be Oklahoma at South Carolina, Bama at South Carolina, Clemson at South Carolina. You know what I mean? So if South Carolina looks like a dominant team, those schedules for those other teams changes suddenly with that, right? Because those other teams also have like Georgia and other ranked teams, Florida and stuff on there. So like that's really because of South Carolina's schedule and who's going to get them later. That's they're going to be watching that game carefully.
And if Virginia Tech beats South Carolina, everyone in the ACC is going to be on alert.
Yeah,
because I don't know that the national media is not expecting much out of them.
No,
the pundits aren't expecting much out of them. But if that would be a legit win, and all of a sudden everyone in the ACC would be like, "Oh, hang on a sec, there's something going on here with Virginia Tech."
Yeah, no, for sure, because you've got Virginia Tech plays Georgia Tech later, Louisville, Florida State, Miami, right? And so those are all teams that right now probably have them penciled Virginia Tech down as a win. But that
and all of a sudden it's this is a better team than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be an interesting one for both teams. As far as playoff implications go, I think it obviously affects South Carolina a bit more.
Well, and especially everyone's still fresh in the memory of them not making it last year, right? Having they had a 9-3 record as well, I think, and Tennessee got in and they didn't.
Yeah.
So we talked about this in the last show a little bit. Who you play, the strength of schedule, who looks good. It's sad that that's part of the decision making.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. So like that, this is one of those things where if you manhandle Virginia Tech, that's going to mean a lot for South Carolina going later.
All right. So direct playoff implications for sure. Notre Dame at Miami.
Yeah. Great revival of the Catholics versus convicts game.
Oh yeah, we were just watching the U part 1 and 2. Yeah.
So if you were a fan back in the day, that's what back in the 80s, early 90s, the Miami had a reputation of having a lot of players arrested and stuff, and Notre Dame
reputation because they were getting arrested.
And Notre Dame is more of the religious, Catholic,
school,
right? So but anyway, so I don't know how much that's relevant now, but I'm looking forward to this one. It's at Miami. At Miami, the last, on August 31st is going to be a tad humid, so that's going to be some tough conditions for people to play in.
Yeah.
Notre Dame has an amazing, probably one of the best running backs in the country. So being able to see him go, and they're starting the freshman Carr. Right?
Yeah, they announced that.
So starting a freshman on the road, this is similar to what we're talking about with Texas and Ohio State. Like it's just such a tough, and I mean, play at Miami isn't as tough as at Ohio State. Right. Say that clearly. Yeah. But it's
which is too bad.
I know it can.
It's too bad that Harbaugh just sucks. And I've heard somebody, I think Bud Elliott was saying, if they're good, that stadium gets good, but it's kind of a fair weather thing.
Yeah.
It's not like some of these other schools that the fans are just going to show up.
Right.
This is like, what have you done for me lately, fans here in Miami?
No, and I think that I was a little surprised at this line too, because I think Notre Dame is significantly better at more positions than Miami is, especially on defense. I know it's at Miami, but I would have taken, it's only Notre Dame by 2.5. It was by a field goal. So I'm leaning Notre Dame on this one. I hope Beck plays well. I hope that there's no signs of the injury. But he's not Cam Ward. And so I'm interested to see what the offense looks like.
Well, can Beck play a whole game? The best of Beck is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The worst of Beck is like, get them the hell off the field.
Yeah. I watched some of the old like Georgia clips in the SEC championship game and things like that. And Beck did not look great. And that team, Georgia's team was loaded, and that Miami is not that loaded. So I'm worried. I don't know. I think Notre Dame's going to win this one, and even though they've got the freshman QB, I think their Notre Dame's defense is going to be so good, and they've got a real difference maker running back. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. It's funny because the quarterback in Notre Dame is the unknown commodity, but Beck is the known commodity. Yeah, but I don't necessarily think I really side with the known commodity because of how volatile he is.
That's a really good point. That was the most cases, if you're looking at the freshman going into a place, you're like, we're not sure what we're going to get here. But if you ask the fan base, I think the fan base would say like, yeah, we feel pretty good about Carr. And I don't know if Miami would say the same thing about Beck.
Well, he was so Jekyll and Hyde within the same game every year.
Yeah.
Like he was all over the map in the Texas games. He was all over the map in the Florida game. He's just the Alabama game that you couldn't be more Jekyll and Hyde in the same game. So that was just who he was all year last year. So I mean, do we think in a new system that'll just be completely straightened out, especially coming off that elbow injury?
And I don't think Miami is as loaded as Georgia was at all the different positions. So
we'll see. Yeah. So Notre Dame feels like the more stable commodity there.
Yeah. And the defense travels.
Yeah.
So, and then the last game is going to be on the Monday night. This one's interesting in terms of our betting perspective. So this is TCU at North Carolina. So when this line first came out, that's right when Belichick got hired. And so is North Carolina favored by 3, which I thought was crazy because going back to our principle, TCU has a returning QB and who's good, and North Carolina's going to have a whole new team.
Knew everything.
And so I don't know why the TCU wasn't favored. So I bet on TCU there. So we actually have them in as TCU like plus 2.5 or whatever. Now the line is TCU minus 3. So really happy that we got the line action on that part. And I just think it's going to, with the all new transfer team and first game, it's going to take a minute for it to come together. Whereas that's not the case for TCU.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're going with the known commodity here. Like that coach and that team and that QB, we've seen enough of it to have an idea of what we're looking at. North Carolina, this is such an unknown experiment with Belichick.
Yeah.
The only argument you can say is, well, he is the greatest coach, at least NFL coach, but does his style translate to these kids? We don't know.
Yeah.
It may. the one thing is, and I've just been listening to an audiobook and talking about Shanahan and McVay and all those guys. And
Okay.
when they got to the part about McVay losing that Super Bowl with the Rams to Belichick and that defensive scheme, partway through the first half, like, oh, we're never going to score. Like, we can't. And that's Belichick changes what he does for each team. They don't have a defense.
Right.
He's just like, how do I stop this team? And he'll install that. Now, obviously, he has nowhere near as much time with the players
Right. That
in
was
college.
yes.
But is he smart enough or organized enough, or his brain works in a way where he can solve that with the time he does have? Like, can he figure out, can he outcoach other coaches in the limited time he has in college versus the unlimited time he has in the pros?
Yeah.
Can he adapt it? We don't know. But
it's not only limited time, it's like he had some of the same players for years on that
and
defense.
half of them were Hall of Famers and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So,
And
but
so, but like-
does any of
so-
it translate? Is the
Right.
thing.
But in North Carolina, this is all new players. Some of them he's going to have for 1 year. Most of them he's going to have for 1 year.
Right.
So if you don't think there's going to be a lot of turnovers and recruiting changes next year, like, you're crazy. So yeah, I just think doing it in, like, you basically have half the amount of time with the
Right.
players you do than versus the pro, and they're younger and they're to be more varied in terms of the skill level. I don't. It's just going to take some time, I think, and it's so I just don't see how TCU isn't going to. I think TCU is going to win that one. Now, hats off to North Carolina fans. If you're a fan of North Carolina, getting a football ticket's never been a problem, maybe until this year.
Yeah.
Because they're sold out for
Yeah.
the season. So that's going to North Carolina Stadium rocking is something that doesn't always happen, and so but that could be a great environment. That's a really good sports town.
Well, they're must-watch TV all year, 100%.
Yeah.
Just because
Well-
of the Belichick effect. Some people are going to disaster watch this if it's not
Yes.
going well. And then people who are fans are just want it to go well. Either way, how can you not watch them?
I don't know what's going to have a higher rating, the game or the post-game press conference, because it seems if they get blown out or if he loses something by like too many men on the field or something,
Yeah,
like,
just some.
and then just how is he going to respond? I don't know.
I mean, the intrigue. I'm so glad it's the Monday night by itself game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And it's the so I love TCU in this game. I love the under.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's no way North Carolina is going to have a potent offense yet. And 58.5 is a big number. So like you get, this could be like 30-20 and I'm still way under that.
Yep.
So I don't think I'm taking the under in this one, especially in its early season. This goes against some of the other games that we picked too, but it's in general, early on, the offense isn't clicking as much as the defense. And so I think that's going to be
Well, and he's
well
probably
under that.
going to hang his hat on defense right now.
Yeah.
Like out of the gates.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even though TCU is a good QB, and I think they are going to score, that 58.5 is way too big.
Yep. Right. I don't know. You got anything else?
No, that's a finish of our week 1 preview. Real games. We'll do another preview for the opening of the NFL season here in Saturday versus Sunday, and we're just a week and a bit away at time of recording. Have both football days going. That's Saturday versus Sunday special.
We made it. We made it through the off season. Miserable time. All right. So that's a good place to leave it.
Yep.
So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barber, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.